The Rewind
Sports
Sports
60. 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Yes! Mercy! That ball hit hard, deep, way back. He looks up, Yucan, clear the board! Yes!
Hell yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. We're broadcasting, streaming live on Facebook, broadcasting from the illustrious studios of WCPT 820 AM in the beautiful, beautiful city of Chicago in the great neighborhood of Jefferson Park. This is another edition of the Rewind Sports 60. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. There's no question about it. The fastest hour in sports conversation. You want to be a part of this dynamic conversation? Our number here is 773-763-9278, 773-763 WCPT. It's our Gale Street Inn Bears Sunday night pre-game show. The Bears will be kicking off Sunday Night Football over on the lakefront. Hopefully they can shake the lake. It won't mean anything, but the Bears will be taking on playing host to Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Kickoff slated for 7:20. Chicago weather, estimated temperatures on the lakefront 42 degrees. 7-7 Chicago Bears. Hopefully they can close out strong. And Sports Illustrated had it right. They figured that the Bears are going to finish somewhere between 9-7 and 7-9. We'll see how things unfold. But as far as this pregame show is concerned, we want you to be a part of it. That of course, yours truly, Jerry Riles. And let's get to our esteemed panel. Ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He's the marvelous one. He's in studio. He's Dan Marver. What's up, Danny?
Hey, Jerry. Hi, guys. Jerry, you're wired. Have you been at a holiday party today already?
Let me tell you something, man. I've been to holiday parties all week long, my good friend.
Well, I know we're on the Bears special, but you know me. I've seen like 10 basketball games this week, too.
You know what? There's just not enough time in the day to check out all the sports that's going on, whether it's college basketball, pro basketball, high school basketball, college football, professional football, hockey, the NBA. It's just awesome, Danny. Yep. Marvelous.
It is indeed. But we'll talk about the Bears if you insist.
Well, you know what? It is our Bears pregame show, and thanks to our good friends at Gale Street Inn for providing what a spread George and his team have put together for our final Sunday night game of the 2019 regular season. We're certainly going to get a chance to dig into that, but thanks to those guys at Gale Street Inn in Jefferson Park, just a couple miles south of the studios of WCPT. We also want to say happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, and Merry Christmas to all of you out there, because this is our final show before Christmas arrives, and Hanukkah started tonight, right, Marvelous?
Yes, indeed. Sundown.
There you go. And, of course, happy Kwanzaa. That's next weekend, I believe. So we just want to get all of that out to you. And we, of course, the Marvelous One, and you love this guy. He's suited up for the beloved. Played under John Fox in 2017. Spent 10 seasons in the National Football League, and now he's a part of the Rewind Sports 60 team. He is known as the 17th letter in the alphabet. He's known as Q. It's Quintin. Demps, what's up, Q? How are you, man?
What's up, Jerry? How you doing, man? I love that energy you got today, too.
Hey, you got to bring it, man. You got to bring it.
Holidays, man. You got to be excited,
man. I mean, it's the holidays, but of course, whenever the Bears are lacing it up, and the Bears can get you upset. Yeah. They can get under your skin, and you want to, break your television and all that good stuff, brother. But whenever it's a Bear game, whether they're kicking off at 12 o'clock noon, whether they're kicking off at 3:30, or they're kicking off at 7:20 on Sunday night or Thursday night, you got to get pumped up, man. Yeah. You just simply have to.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bears.
Well, I don't know how long we'll get a chance to say that. But we'll get a chance to check it out if you want to be a part of it. 773-763-9278. And, of course, the beauty amongst all these beasts up in this studio, ladies and gentlemen, you love her. Yes, she can. Hey. No, she is Chicago.
I can.
She is Comcast CN 100 sideline reporter. Lauren Yucan in the studio. What's up, Lauren?
How are you, Jerry?
Rocking and rolling, eh? How are you?
Good. I'm so glad the holidays are here. I love the holidays. So,
well, you know what I like about it? What I love about it, Lauren, is I just told you, it's 42 degrees kickoff over at Soldier Field. It was 50 degrees, 53 degrees earlier today. It's beautiful. And, I understand the tradition as far as Christmas and the holidays and snow, but I kind of like this weather.
I can deal with this.
I kind of like this weather. But one reason I'm also wired and pumped up for sound is the fact that, hey, let me tell you something. All of you out there listening, if you're driving around in your car, it's got 8:20 a.m. on WCPT. If you're at home watching us on Facebook Live, we love you. We appreciate you. But it doesn't matter if you're a Cub fan, I don't think. It doesn't matter if you're a White Sox fan. I'm here to tell you. What's today, December what?
22nd.
December 22nd, 2019. I'm here to tell you. The gifts that we have, we're going to be receiving in 2020 from our baseball teams. I believe this is the first time, Marvelous One, I don't know, man, in how many years that we potentially can have two baseball teams in the playoffs in 2020.
Yeah, we got Dallas Keuchel.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, the Sox are doing good?
Yeah, they are certainly. Hey, Q, they are doing good. And the man who knows how good this team is doing and how well they probably can play next season in 2020, we got him on our TRS60 hotline. He's the White Sox beat reporter for your Chicago White Sox. Scott Merkin, MLB.com on our TR60 hotline. Sounds good.
Hey there.
Scott, how are you, buddy? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm wired for sound, as you can tell. Thank you so very much for taking some time out to join us on this Bears pregame broadcast.
I was walking downtown today, and there's a dry cleaner next to in the building I live in. They have the placard outside with the time and the weather.
Yeah.
At one point, I saw a 58 up there. Now, I'm not sure if that's accurate, but
really?
it seemed warm today, that's for sure.
Yeah,
it felt fantastic. And, someone made the comment that it felt like it was a, early spring day, man. I'll take it, because Merkin, I don't know how old a man you are, but I've been around the block a couple times, and I'm not in the mood or in the shape to do any shoveling. That's out of my realm now. I've passed that stage.
Yeah,
but
I think if you want the white Christmas, you can. I'm sure there's some app you can put on your computer or something you can,
Alexa,
the running Yule log on TV. Just do it that way. That's fine.
There you go.
We don't need the white. Snow will be here eventually. Just enjoy this while you can.
And I certainly will enjoy it as long as I possibly can. And I'm enjoying what Rick Hahn and the Chicago White Sox are doing a hot stove. And the latest addition to your Chicago White Sox, 3-year, $55.5 million deal. The left-hander, Dallas Keuchel, coming to the south side to pitch for your Chicago White Sox. Scott, when you heard this, what was your reaction?
I wasn't surprised. He seemed to be the one who made the most sense of the group that was left out there. We all know they strongly pursued Zach Wheeler. He was a guy who really fit into what they were doing in terms of, his age and could kind of grow with the group and had that high-end stuff, the 97, 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Mm-hmm. Plus, because of some health issues over the years, hadn't had a lot of innings on his arm because he had missed like 2.5 years after a Tommy John surgery. But, they offered him the highest amount. He chose to stay east for family reasons, so, that left them open. And then it was a question of, what did the Sox want to commit to very good pitchers, but did they fit into their plan for more than a year? And Dallas Keuchel does. Dallas Keuchel is a ground ball guy, which plays very well at guaranteed rate. I think he had the highest ground ball percentage last year in the majors by a decent piece. Mm-hmm. And also a Cy Young winner, a veteran, a guy who's pitched in the playoffs, a guy who won the World Series in 2017. And I'll tell you this, I talked to a couple people with the Twins last year as their, kind of great year up until the playoff disaster was going on. And they told me how much a difference guys like Chris Crone and Nelson Cruz and Marwin Gonzalez and Martin Perez made on that young roster, because all those guys had played in playoffs, to various degrees. Nelson Cruz just missed a World Series championship. Gonzalez won one with Houston. And it makes a difference for young teams. I know in this day and age where there's so many great numbers to analyze what's going on, people overlook that a little bit, but it does make a difference to have that kind of veteran leadership. And both Keuchel and Gio Gonzalez, who was officially announced on Friday in his return to where it all started with the White Sox, will help, young guys like Giolito and Cease and Lopez and then Kopech and Rodon when they come back. So a very good move. Both guys, very good move for the White Sox.
Yeah, it's a very good move, and I'm just excited to see what's going to happen with this pitching staff, because you mentioned the guys who have been pitching pretty well as far as this staff is concerned, with Lucas Giolito and Dylan Cease, and just the fact that these other guys are starting to get into their own rhythm, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see if Kopech can get back after the Tommy John surgery and add to this fuel as far as pitching is concerned. But are you as excited as I am as far as a Sox fan is concerned to say now, because we know the rebuilding process and what Rick Hahn has mapped out and planned and said, hey, we've reached the second stage of this development and this rebuild. Are you as excited as I am to say, hey, 2020 wasn't projected for this team to make it to the playoffs. Now it's looking like Rick is saying, hey, you know what? Let's see what we can do.
Well, I think it's a little different in the scheme of the rebuild compared to other teams who have done it in one, like the Cubs, the Astros, the Royals, and that the Sox, let's be honest, are not in a very good division. Detroit and Kansas City, while I think are adding a few more players to be a little more competitive this year, are still, bad baseball teams. They're not going to probably even win 70 games this year. Cleveland, if they go through with some of these deals that, they're rumoring in terms of Lindor, maybe even Clevenger, geez, that's a big drop-off, a big step back for them. And Minnesota is clearly the favorite. They won over 100 games last year. Now, will they have a little regression? They seem to be a team that's kind of on 1 year off the other in the last, 8 to 10 years. So it'll be interesting. But let's be honest, the Sox won 72 games last year,
right? Which
in and of itself was a 10-game jump before, from the year before. Can it happen? Well, sure. The Cubs in 15 went from 73 to, I think, 97 wins. The Twins went from 78 to 101, I believe, last year. So there's no rule. It's not like you have to, graduate a level in order to be able to win when you have a bad year before. So the Sox very well could win 95. Who knows? But they're certainly making the moves, sticking with their plans of not just trying to jump up 1 year in a bad division and steal a division title. If they end up winning 83 games this year and fall short, well, they'll be disappointed, sure. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs since 08. Of course, right. You want to get in there. But the goal for them is long term. They want to, it's sort of like the Cubs did, but and still are in there, as you pointed out, but want to win, multiple titles. Now, that's a tough thing to do. The last team to repeat was the Yankees, and I guess it was, 98, 99, 2000. The last National League team to repeat was the Big Red Machine. So right. It's not an easy thing to do in modern baseball to repeat. It's not an easy thing to do in any sport, really, to repeat. But, they've done it well. And I think you're right. I think barring the Cubs making wholesale changes via trade, both teams should be, it's going to be a little like 2016, I think. Yeah, when the Cubs won,
right.
The Sox had that great start where they were 23-10 and then just kind of fell off the cliff. And you have to go back to 08 when they were both in the playoffs. But, man, could you imagine the city if both somehow got into the World Series? I'm not sure if Chicago would survive.
And I'm telling you, hey, Merkin, I'm pumped up, man. Listen, this is how much I'm pumped up, man. When I got the news and I read the paper and I heard it, dude. Our show starts at 6 o'clock every Sunday right here at WCPT, 8:20 a.m. I live in the northern suburbs. John Milwaukee Avenue. I say, hey, you know what? I'm running to work. I'm running to do the show. I was just excited, man. It's fantastic. We're on with Scott Merkin. He covers the Chicago White Sox from MLB.com, talking about Dallas Keuchel joining your 2020 Chicago White Sox.
So, Scott, everybody is truly excited about this new addition and hoping that veteran leadership is exactly what we would need to take things to the next level. But you do have your naysayers, your people who are saying that Dallas could be past his prime. What do you say? What's your look on, or take on that particular topic, the naysayers out there?
Well, I think, the thing, if you look back even to the 05 team, they didn't add superstars at every spot. Now, the 05 team, everything just worked perfectly that year, from literally game one when they won 1-0 to the last game when they won 1-0 and won 11-12 in the postseason. But you don't have to have a superstar at every spot. And I think Keuchel is still a pretty decent pitcher. Does he have to go there and be, the ace of the staff and have a below 3 ERA? No, I think they need innings from him. They need innings from Gio Gonzalez. If they wanted a superstar, they would have tried to commit the $300 million to a guy like Garrett Cole. I think Dallas Keuchel probably is not at that spot right now, but it is a very good addition. And, it should be noted that he's a Scott Boras guy, too. And there's been this kind of underlying theme that the Sox won't deal with his guys, and I just don't think that's true. I just don't think there's been a fit in years past. There's been some minor guys they've added along the way, smaller guys, I should say, smaller contracts, Andrew Jones, Austin Jackson, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a multi-year commitment, and I just think this is a guy that fit. So again, I can see, everyone's always going to have a counterpoint, and I know people have talked about that these guys like Gio and Keuchel, and even to some extent Grandal, maybe Abreu even a little bit, are being paid for past performance, where the model in modern baseball is really projected performance, what's going to happen in front. But I do think that, with the young guys they have, that's a difference in years past for the Sox, is they have a lot of options to choose from in that minors as these guys get healthy. Unfortunately, they had a kind of a run of Tommy John surgeries the last couple of years.
Right.
So as these guys get healthy and come back, there's going to be other options. If, say something, it doesn't work on one of them, you have choices as the year goes on.
Hey, Merkin.
And not just the year, but the years go on, I should say.
Well, hopefully we'll continue to follow this and get a chance to pick your brain as we draw closer to the 2020 baseball season. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation here in Chicago as far as the Rewind Sports 60 is concerned. So we got to spring you, my man, but I appreciate you taking some time out on this Sunday and joining us to get us up to speed, my good friend.
Okay, folks, happy holidays to you, and let's more 50-degree days in December.
There you go. Happy holidays to you, my good friend. Scott Merkin, MLB.com, covering your Chicago White Sox, and it's just a breath of fresh air. Keep it locked in. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch the smartphone. Don't touch that Android. Don't touch any of that stuff. Keep it locked in. Don't touch anything. But marvelous one. Your speculation on this.
I mean, I was thinking about the whole Craig Kimbrell thing on the north side. I mean, when you look at Dallas Keuchel last year, he did pitch in 19 games. He was 8-8 with a 3.75. That's not too bad. I mean, it's not as Cy Young where he was under 3. So he'll give you some innings. So that's a big thing, because that was the question as to who they would use in the rotation next year. So they've really tightened that up quite a bit.
Yeah, and I'm Q, man. Yeah. I know you're a transplant, so to speak. Okay. You played here.
Yeah.
Your allegiance as far as the baseball teams are concerned here in Chicago.
I like the team with the best outfit, man, the best colors. I'm a White Sox guy.
Maybe how about the Oakland A's?
White Sox got the best hat, man.
The best color.
They do.
So I don't know how much you've been following, the baseball teams, whatever. Do you think this is a good move for this White Sox team and they can get back to respectability?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just from listening to everybody, I feel like it's a good move. You know, I feel like I don't know if he's going to be like you said, a superstar, but I think he's going to be a solid pitcher, So
no, I think yeah.
But he did win the Cy
in 2015. He won the Cy Young Award. Yeah. So I mean, he's got the stuff. And again, if he can get the rock or the pill every 5 days and go out there, but I think the important thing for this, Lauren and Marvelous and Q, is the fact that he brings some veteran leadership to this,
absolutely,
to this pitching staff, and he can show these young studs how to get it done.
Yeah.
And that, because again, you're right. Every 5 days, he take the pill out there and he can show them how to pitch at the major league level consistently.
Yeah.
It's going to rub off on these young arms, and they marvelous. Yeah. I'm telling you.
How many games are in baseball?
162.
Ooh. Man, don't be doing that, man.
I didn't know.
It's okay.
162
for you kids.
So every 5 games he rests?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know much about baseball.
Right, and nowadays the starter doesn't complete any games. I mean, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
He completed, he's had 3 complete games in the last 4 years, so it doesn't happen anymore.
Well, of course, because obviously the money, again, he signed for a 3-year deal, $55.5 million. I think, Lauren, the fourth deal is like 18.3
right now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, for an average.
Yeah.
These teams have
above average.
These teams have like 13 pitchers now. It used to be the Fergie Jenkins. Remember, we've had him. He would pitch, every third day and pitch a complete game.
Right,
it doesn't happen anymore.
Well, I think baseball now are trying to get away from that one batter, pitcher per one batter. Because a lot of pitchers now they become specialists. Maybe they can get, you got a left-hander who can get, a big bat out, and then, the manager go, okay, you've done your job, let's bring in another pitcher.
Okay, that makes sense.
So back in the day, like you said, these stud pitchers, we had Wilbur Wood. Wilbur Wood pitched on the south side. He pitched in he pitched in a doubleheader, 2 games.
Yeah. I think he won 20 and lost 21 years.
It was unbelievable. If you want to join us, feel free to give us a ring, 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278. 763 WCPT. It's a Gale Street and Bears Sunday Live pregame show. And let's get to the football, my good friend, Quintin Demps.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, the Bears, they don't have anything to play for as far as postseason is concerned. It's all about what moving forward in 2020. What do you expect from this game tonight? They got, Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, who came in here. He's coming in here and say, hey, I feel probably the best I felt all season long. Of course, he had the injuries, whether it's the ankle or the dislocated knee.
Yeah.
But he's coming in and seemingly peaking at the right time, with the 10-4 Kansas City Chief. What do you see in this football game?
I expect Mitchell Trubisky to have a chip on his shoulder right now to prove to everybody that no matter who wins first, who wins second, I'm better than Patrick Mahomes on this night in my city. Okay. On this night in my city, I'm better than Patrick Mahomes.
You're going to probably wish it wasn't a good night for passing, though.
Mitch.
I think you're going to wish it was like
That's
windy.
what I want to see. That's what I'm hoping to see from Mitch. I want to see him take all that talk everybody's been saying about Mahomes and the guy Watson. I want him to come out and show everybody this is my city.
You know
Bears
what?
on my back.
So seriously, you in the locker room. You guys in the locker room, right?
Right.
And everybo's got that. What was your pregame ritual like? Getting prepared for a game.
Man, I was more like just chill. Like I would just, I get in the hot tub, listen to my headphones, listen to my music, and just kind of go warm up. Yeah, I don't even remember, man. I'm so far removed.
But wait a minute, hang on there.
I'm so far removed.
But wait a minute, man. Hang on.
Literally 10 years now. Come on.
Yeah, but hang on, man. Hang on. Wait a minute. Hang on. You got a game. You said I asked you, what are you doing? And you told me. You told all of us listening. Yeah. You said I get in the hot tub. Listen, I have a hot tub.
Okay.
Usually when I get in my hot tub, and I got the sounds going, I got a little libation going on, and I got a little stogie going. But by the time I get out of my hot tub, dude, I'm not.
It was to get your muscles warm.
I'm laid out like a let-out couch, okay? I ain't thinking.
Oh my gosh!
You think about playing a football game?
Not at all.
Yeah, to get my muscles warm, I would get in the hot tub, man, get stretched. Get my back rubbed, my feet rubbed a little bit. No, seriously.
Really?
They had trainers that do that for us. Yeah, you just,
Okay.
Especially when you get older.
Because the Bears when the Bears won the Super Bowl 34 years ago, 85, 86.
Don't say that.
Right? I'm just telling it like it is, Lauren. So Dan Hampton, Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, that was the most intimidating defense I ever seen in my entire life. Unbelievable. But Mike Singletary told Dan Hampton, he said, hey, man, get me ready. Get me ready for the game.
Yeah.
And Dan, they're on the football field. They're on the field, And Dan Hampton just literally started beating the snot out of Mike Singletary. And Mike Singletary said, what's wrong with you, man? You crazy?
Yeah.
But that's how they would get up for these games, man.
Uh-huh.
So, but for this game, because, when you look at the numbers, the Bears defensively are ranked 8th in the National Football League. Okay. Kansas City ranked 16th. So this Bears team, you're right. They have something to prove, despite the fact that there's, the playoff hopes are done. Yeah. How do they come out here and say, hey, you know what? We know what Mahomes has been able to do, but we're going to show America, the nation, what this Chicago Bears football team is about.
There's just no pressure on them. Yeah.
One other factor is that the Chiefs' chances of getting a bye in the first round are like nil. So they can't, they got to keep playing well, but I'm wondering if they may rest some people this week or next week because they're going to be in the third or the fourth seed. They can't be 1 or 2 because New England beat Buffalo yesterday.
Right.
And Baltimore won. So that will be an interesting sidebar, too, to see, if Reed plays all the regulars.
Yeah, but Andy Reid ain't resting nobody.
Okay. Right. And that's the thing because they're peaking. That's what I said. Right. Yeah. Mahomes is, after that injury, he's now getting into his groove, and these guys want to peak at the right time going into the playoffs, despite where the seeding is.
Right. Yeah. I guess he doesn't have the Nagy philosophy,
which is interesting, man. Yeah. And again, Q, before we take our time out here, we got a Gabe Salgado TR60 scoreboard update coming up. Yeah. How do you see the mentor and the mentee?
Yeah.
Because Andy Reid, he seems like a laid-back cat, and he let his coordinators and his coaching staff handle the business.
Right.
And of course, we know, the coaching tree.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy comes from that. But how do you see that comparison with these two going up against each other?
I think Nagy, like, he definitely took some things from Andy Reid, just like a mentality for the locker room. But I don't know. Andy Reid's just a different beast, man. Like, just to me, he's just like a different, subtle, like, just mentally. It's about mental toughness with him all the time.
Right.
So I want to see that carry over to Nagy's regime. You know what I mean? Like, building mental toughness in your players, man. That's what it's about. Not resting them in the preseason. It's mental toughness, man. Everybody plays. Everybody gets hit. Get ready for the season. Type stuff,
If we come back, man, we'll continue to break down the Chicago Bears Kansas City clash over on the lakefront. Sunday Night Football. NBC, folks, if you want to join in and be a part of what we're doing here at WCPT 820 AM, our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. It's Jerry Riles. The marvelous one, Dan Marver. He's Q, Quintin Demps, and, of course, the lovely and talented and knowledgeable, of course, yes, she can. She's Lauren Yucan. Gabe Salgado, TRS60 scoreboard update. On the road. Take it away, buddy.
From the Gentile Center is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation. The Loyola Ramblers' 4-game winning streak came to an end today as they lost to Davidson at the Gentile Center 59-56. The Ramblers had a 4-point halftime lead, but the Wildcats matched them shot for shot for most of the second half. A couple of key turnovers and some defensive miscues down the stretch allowed Davidson to pull away in the end. Ramblers head coach Porter Mosier talks about what went wrong.
Yeah, I thought they made way more plays down the stretch in the 6-minute game. I mean, some of the one-on-one plays off the dribble, they did a really nice job of making some nice one-on-one drives. I'm disappointed we didn't make enough of those.
Loyola will get to regroup over the Christmas holiday before beginning Missouri Valley Conference play at Valparaiso on December 30th. The Bears are out of the playoff hunt, but they can still finish 2019 with a winning record. In order to do that, however, they'll have to get past Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs tonight in their final home game of the season. Before coaching the Bears, Matt Nagy was Mahomes' quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator in Kansas City. This will be the first time that Nagy has faced his former team. The Bears will be without Akeem Hicks, who doesn't seem to be fully recovered from his elbow injury. Taylor Gabriel is still in concussion protocol. Bobby Massey is out with a sprained ankle, while Prince Amukamara is questionable with a hamstring injury. The White Sox have landed that big-name pitcher that they've been looking for. They'll be bringing in left-hander Dallas Keuchel on a 3-year, $55 million deal. The 2015 Cy Young Award winner pitched for the Atlanta Braves last year and won a World Series with the Houston Astros in 2017. He'll now join the likes of Gio Gonzalez, Lucas Giolito, and Ronaldo Lopez, among other strong arms on the Sox pitching staff. The Bulls are off tonight after last night's win in Detroit. They'll travel to Orlando tomorrow. The Blackhawks are also off after last night's comeback win in Colorado. They'll welcome the New Jersey Devils to the United Center on Monday night. And in today's other college basketball action, Chicago State loses at Indiana State 85-64. This update from the Gentile Center is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation, MEF, empowering the next generation of leaders. Go to monstereducationfoundation.org to learn more. I'm Gabe Salgado for the Rewind Sports 60 and WCPT 820 Chicago.
You're watching the Rewind Sports 60. Go Bucks! Woo!
It's the end of the quarter. Time for a break in the action. The hottest sports panel in Chicago will get back to the fast-paced action, streaming live on Facebook Live. We're back at it after this quick timeout. So don't you dare touch that iPhone, Android, iPad, Mac, or PC. Lock it in.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Hey, Chicago, looking for a winning team on a winning station? You found it right here on WCPT 820 AM. Join Danny Carlino, Kelly Lee Williams, Dan Marvelous Marver, Marty B, the man on the street, Gabe Salgado with updates, and yours truly, Jerry Riles, for your sports and entertainment needs. Looking for real sports talk? Got it. Real radio? Right here. Real stuff? We're here. The Rewind Sports 60 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on WCPT 820 AM. Real sports, real talk, just plain real. Lock it in.
If it's Chicago sports you want, you're in the right place.
Hello, Chicago!
The Rewind Sports 60.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60 live with the best sports panel in Chicago. Lock it in.
I thought like our O-line played really well. I thought we could have took more pressure off them, moving the pocket a little more, and me getting out. But yeah, they've done a great job of that all year long, and that's what they hang their hat on.
Well, hopefully you'll do a very good job tonight. That's your quarterback for your Chicago Bears, Mitchell Trubisky, and he's going up against the guy that many fans here in Chicago wish was calling plays underneath center for your beloved Chicago Bears. That, of course, the MVP of last year,
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
Could have had him.
Could have had him, Lauren.
I'm not
Lauren,
gonna do that.
Yucan, we could have had him.
I'm not going to do that.
Why?
Because I'm moving forward and I'm looking forward. So.
Wait, so Nagy coached him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but
well,
they drafted
so
him.
He was the offensive coordinator.
I got you.
But Mahomes, he got in like 2 or 3 games.
Right, because had Alex Smith still.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly. So, but yeah. So.
Okay.
Do you think it's going to be a long game for Bear fans and the Bears themselves, Quintin?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs going to come out here and put something on the Bears. Honestly, I don't. Just offensively, I think the ball is going, deep. You know what I'm saying? So.
He's cute, Quintin Demps.
I'm kind of nervous for the Bears, but I just hope my boy Mitchell comes out with a chip on his shoulder, man, and proves me wrong. You know what I mean?
Well. Yes, you can. You can, and of course, the marvelous one, Dan Marver.
Anything can happen.
Jerry Riles. You're right. Anything can happen, and I was on that bandwagon, earlier this season when you came on board to join us on the Rewind Sports 60, and you said any given Sunday, and the Bears, they won 3 games, marvelous, in 11 days, and it's like, hey, you know what? He's onto something, man. But the numbers, as far as the 2 quarterbacks are concerned, Mitchell Trubisky taken 2nd overall, of course. He, in 13 games this year, 7-6 mark with 2,774 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, compared to Mahomes, who was a 10th overall pick, 12 games, 9-3 slate, 3,606 yards on the season, 23 touchdowns, and 4 INTs. And we're talking, it's our Gale Street Inn Bears Sunday Live, a pregame show here at WCPT, and he is definitely a part of the program as far as what we're doing moving forward, especially in 2020. He is our NBA expert, our NBA analyst. He's on our TRS60 hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, you love him. He's the good doctor, Dr. Lloyd Walton, joining us on the program. Doc, how are you?
I'm good. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays to you too, man.
Happy holidays.
Hey, man, so, normally we get you on, we're talking, and we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about the Bulls because Zach Levine and Laurie Markin, they beat the Detroit Pistons, all right.
We're on our way.
You know what? I think this is symptomatic of being a Chicagoan. They beat Detroit without 3 players, 3 of the best players. Okay? Come on, man. We can't cheer for that. And I was listening to Q to talk about the Bears. And all I can say is, man, like, I would like for them to win. But look, man, when you got a quarterback who doesn't even want the TVs on in the building because they're criticizing him, you got a problem. You got a problem. Come on, Q.
Don't nobody want to see that all day. Don't nobody want to see that all day in the locker room, though, man.
Hey, Q.
Think about it, man.
Hey, Q, I guarantee you one thing. If the TV was on and they were talking about you wouldn't ask them to turn it off. You would say, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to play better.
Right.
I'm not going to ask them to turn it off. I want to hear more of that. Because I'm coming out, I'm going to be prepared, and I'm going to kick their butt.
Hey, guess what? Guess what, Dr. Lloyd Walton? Hey, guess what? Mr. Trubisky? It's going to be a lot of TVs on tonight. It's going to be a lot of TVs on tonight. And if he screws up, he's going to get his wish because a lot of people are going to turn off that damn game if he screws up, man.
How about the whole country? I thought they'd flex the game out.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Lloyd Walton, join us on the TRS60 hotline doing our Gale Street and Bears Sunday Live pregame show. So, you're a former athlete. You played in the NBA, but being a former professional athlete and seeing what this team really don't have much to play for, what would be your concept? What do you think about what I just said? I mean, what's your perspective to close out the remainder of this season, looking forward to 2020?
Okay, so there's no such thing as that you don't have anything to play for.
There you go, Doc.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Number one, you are a professional, okay? Every game, every snap counts. And I look back at my career, and my coach came on, Don Nelson, the winningest coach in NBA history. When he took the job in the middle of the year, he said one thing was going to be very, very clear. We were going to change the culture, and we were going to play our butts off every night, and people were going to begin to fear us when they came in our building, no matter who they were. And that's what we did.
Right.
Okay? You cannot take tonight off. You got to be prepared. You got to go out there and play like you're playing for your job. And some of those guys actually are.
Right. Yes, they are.
But this is culture setting time. This is evaluation time. Everybody in the front office is going to be evaluating these guys. You don't want to, give them a bad spot on tape about you letting them down. Come on, man. You got people still want to see you do well. I think that's how it goes. Is that right, Q?
Yeah, that's it. How did you play when we didn't have anything to play for? When we went to the playoffs, we had no postseason games. Who are you? It's going to show on tape. Like, what kind of player are you? And coaches are looking right now. They're looking hard right now too. They're looking super hard right now.
So is that part of the formula? Is that part of the ingredient that you instill in these guys? All season long, of course, and pregame rituals and warming up to say, hey, listen, everybody is counting you out. We still represent the city of Chicago. Yeah, we're not playing for the playoffs, but we can play for a winning record. We can finish, at 9-7, hold our heads high and move this thing forward. Is that the type of mentality that you're trying to instill in your team?
Well, for me, I think that when you know what your responsibility is and you take it serious, that you're going to come out, you're going to be prepared because you studied, you know what the scouting report says, and you're going to come out and do your best job. If you do that, you will be evaluated at a higher level than you will be if you take this for granted. Okay? Some guys are going to be playing for a job for next year. The team in itself is trying to set the tone with the rest of the league. Trust me, this thing goes over to the next year.
Yeah, it does.
They cannot take tonight off. I mean, even the coaches can't take tonight off. You got to play this like it's a playoff game, man. Yep. Take it serious. Remember, the bottom line, I always think about it is we play this game as kids for nothing. Now you're getting paid for it. Act like it. Act like you're going to earn your paycheck for the week.
Yeah, I had a saying like, have fun like a kid, but execute like a man, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, fun like a kid, but
have fun like a kid, but execute like a man.
Yeah,
we need to do that every day.
We got some that's t-shirts. We got coming up with the TR60 t-shirts.
In the NBA, we say it a little bit different, Q.
What y'all say?
We play a child's game for a king's ransom.
Yeah, I do get a lot of
That's
money.
another t-shirt. What do you think, Lauren? What do you think?
One interesting thing about the game is the coaching matchup. When you look at the mentor and the mentee, what are your thoughts on how that is going to play into the game?
If I'm Nagy, one thing I don't want to do, I don't want to get caught up in this trying to outdo Andy Reid, my mentor.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I want to stay within myself, within my team concept, what we've tried to do all year. That's where I want to be. We'll do all this stuff later after the game is over, during the summer and all that crap. But I'm not trying to match my wits against yours. My team, my personnel is different from yours. Let's do what we need to do, right, to win this game. To hell with Andy Reid. Now, if I'm Andy Reid, hey, man, I'm trying to make sure none of my guys get hurt. I want us to keep us on the same road that we've been on to win games, period, so we can continue to be prepared to get to the playoffs.
But do you throw any wrinkles? If you're Andy Reid and your defensive front, do you throw any wrinkles at Mitchell Trubisky? Because it's going to give him a different look moving forward. For instance, Tom Brady, they say that there's no defense that Tom Brady can't face and succeed at because he's seen it all. Mitchell is still in the developing, growing stages. So to help me out here, but for Andy Reid to throw some different wrinkles at Mitchell Trubisky, I would think it would be long-term a benefit for him as opposed to, calling the dogs off, so to speak, and make it a little bit easier. Is that far-fetched, or am I wrong in that speculation? Either one of you guys, Q?
So Q is better to answer it, but let me just say this, because I'm not a Trubisky fan. So let me just say this. The way he played this year, you don't need no wrinkles. Okay, you don't need anything different. Okay, you can go straight vanilla.
Hey, Doc, he was Pro Bowl last year, man. Why you giving up so? He went to the Pro Bowl last year, man.
When somebody dropped out.
I just got one thing to say about last year.
It's
what
over.
You done for me lately,
yes,
baby.
Yes, sir.
Marvelous. What do you got, my friend?
Well, actually, I'm rethinking the Chiefs. They actually, if they can win today and next week, and somehow the Patriots lose to the Dolphins, they would get a bye. So there is a remote chance that they. So obviously they're going to play hard, and and the Bears will really have to overachieve in this game, I think, to win it. And with the good field conditions, it makes me nervous about Mahomes. Actually,
yeah. No, but Jerry, to your point too, I don't think Andy Reid wants to come out and do anything different. Right. I think toward the end of the year, everybody knows what you're gonna do. They know what you're good at. So you want to continue to polish that and get that ready for the playoffs. We know what we're doing. You know what's up. Beat this cover one. You know what it is.
Right.
Can you beat it or not? So we're going to see who's going to be disciplined. It's going to be man on man. It ain't about playing tricks and doing all this kind of fancy stuff. It's about sticking to the basics and executing.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Chris Collinsworth, who have the call of the game, he said earlier this week on a national radio program that he thought that Patrick Mahomes is playing his best football.
Yeah, he looks good.
And that the Kansas City Chiefs, Lauren, they're the team to watch out for because they potentially can be Super Bowl bound.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Based on everything peaking at the right direction, Andy Reid is their coach, and Patrick Mahomes gaining the confidence.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts?
I totally agree with that because, when he had that injury, at first the ceiling, everybody was talking about them. Then he had the injury. So he's kind of been through the ups and downs. It took him a while to get back to that peak performance level that he was playing at, and then other teams came in there. So everybody's talking about Lamar Jackson and just, a lot of the other teams that are peaking at the right time too. So I think that gives them an advantage moving forward. And really, again, that fundamental leadership in Andy Reid, his skill set in terms of Mahomes, they have a lot of intangibles that a lot of other teams don't have, and they definitely can creep in and really blow the whole thing up.
And so, Quintin Demps joining us along with Dr. Lloyd Walton on our TRS60 hotline. Pregame at Bears, Kansas City. Kickoff at 7:20 over on the lakefront. If you're defensively going up against Pat Mahomes, you're Chuck Pagano. What do you think that scheme, what that defensive scheme plan is to try to shut this guy down, or at least slow him down?
Yeah, it's definitely I feel you got to keep him in the pocket.
Okay,
he's a pocket passer too, but when he gets out, uses his legs, he definitely a little bit more dangerous with them fast receivers he has. But you got to keep him in the pocket, get hands in his face, making sure everybody's playing discipline. You can't have a breakdown on the back end because he's gonna find it. You can't have miscommunication. You got to be communicated really well on the back end. Everybody doing their job, because if you have any kind of miscommunication, he's gonna be a touchdown.
Sure. So here's an interesting, and any one of you feel free to jump in. This is a question that came up on talk radio here locally this past week regarding Patrick Mahomes and of course Trubisky and the Bears. And some people speculated that had the Bears, and Ryan Pace, your boy Ryan Pace said Patrick Mahomes was number 2 on his list behind Trubisky when he was going to draft him.
Yeah.
Let's say that he drafted Patrick Mahomes, and everything is the same except the quarterback's a flip-flop, and Patrick Mahomes is playing for the Bears.
Okay.
Do you think, Q, that Mahomes still has the success that he's had in the league compared to what he's doing in Kansas City? If he was with the Bears, would he still have that same success?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's.
Why do you say that?
Because he's like he's just a natural football player. Like he's a natural quarter. Like he's just special. He's a special player. Period. No matter where he goes, he's a special player.
So despite the lack of tight end that the Bears have, the lack of the potential receivers, although the receiving corps for the Bears have stepped up lately, but
he would have elevated everybody though. You know what I mean? Like he would have came and been that guy to elevate everybody.
Right.
To me, my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you because an athlete is an athlete.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where you put that athlete.
Right.
He's going to play it as his potential.
Yeah.
And it's contagious. You see somebody balling, you go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah,
He's making me look bad. I better step up my game.
Especially the quarterback.
So I thought it was kind of interesting, not foolish, but an interesting question.
You make the point. I mean, obviously, he'd have different personnel surrounding him in Chicago than Kansas City.
Right.
So that obviously would be a difference. Whether he'd be able to be as effective with the Chicago talent is somewhat questionable in my mind, but it's possible.
Yeah, see, I think, and the difference there, the X factor, so to speak, is Tariq Cohen. Because if you just think about it, if he was under the Bears, if he was running the Bears offense, because the defenses they learned how to shut down Tariq Cohen.
Right.
But if Patrick Mahomes was the signal caller for the Bears, and he's got Tariq Cohen in the slot or in the Wildcat or whatever, because now you got a dual, you got dual threat as far as the run is concerned. So I it was an interesting question, but I just figured, like you said, hey, this guy's a baller. What do you think, Dr. Lloyd Walton? What do you think, man? Come on, man.
I think it was Teddy Pendergrass had this song once that said, "Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed." Okay, get
Turn
off
off the light,
man.
Turn them off.
There's no fantasy here, man. He didn't come here, but I found something very interesting this week. I heard Patrick Mahomes being interviewed, and they asked him the question, what was his thoughts and feelings about Nagy? And he gave him rave reviews. He said his career probably wouldn't be what it was if Nagy had not worked with him his first year. He talked to him in plain language that he could understand. He made him see things that he couldn't see before very, very clearly. So when I'm not trying to, bash Trubisky or anything, but, some guys are more prepared to make that transition to the NFL than others. And it appears that along with the coach assistant, he was better prepared, even though he didn't play but a couple games his first year. He was better prepared to face the NFL than Mitch Trubisky has been. Right. And Nagy played a huge part in that.
Well, that's a good point, too.
Well, I mean, it's a good point, but from what I hear is that he's just, he's just being nice and kind because, listen, his dad played Major League Baseball, and he prepared his son to be a professional athlete, whether it's baseball, football, whatever. Sure. So he already came into the league with a mental state of knowing how to be a professional athlete at a high level consistently. Right. But he was, I'm sure he learned something from that.
Here's where I'm confused.
Oh,
wasn't okay?
Go ahead.
Mahomes was drafted in 2018, right? It was a 2017. Because Nagy became the Bears coach in 2018.
Right.
The same, and wasn't Trubisky and Mahomes in the 18 draft? So how did Nagy coach him?
17.
Okay, 17. That's okay. That's where I was confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Come on, man. Come on,
just trying to get the facts out. Okay. Just wanted to be clear.
What you got, Doc? What you got, Doc?
Hey, man, I'll just say that, man, the bottom line is that even if he's a professional, still in all, I think when somebody helps you evolve and become better, you give them that respect.
Sure.
You don't necessarily say anything if they didn't. Right? You know how to avoid that question in responding. But I just think Nagy probably did, man. I don't know why we'll say that. He hasn't done a good job with Trubisky. I don't know if it's more Trubisky or if it's more Nagy. I have my own personal opinion. It's probably more Trubisky. But the bottom line, the guy says Nagy helped him evolve, become a better player see things that he couldn't necessarily see.
Yeah.
I got to give him that.
Yeah, and you do. And I think, again, if Patrick Mahomes played, if he was here with the Chicago Bears and Matt Nagy would have the opportunity to run the offense the way he wants to run it.
Right.
Because he would have a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes to show up and show out.
Yeah.
You know, and nothing against Trubisky. Nothing against him.
Not at all, yeah.
He's a fabulous athlete, but we've talked about it before. They're all three of them are learning on the job, whether it's the GM, whether it's the head coach, and whether it's the quarterback for your Chicago Bears, Lauren. Hey,
Absolutely.
Doc, before we go, anything you got a prediction, brother, on what you think the outcome's going to be for this game?
I'm not good at giving I always hear people, prognosticators and analysts, giving scores, what the score's going to be. I'm not good at that. I just know the Bears are not going to win.
Oh, my God, Doc.
No.
Here you go, Doc. They're at home, Doc. They're at home, man. Give us some.
It's not going to be an old-fashioned butt whooping behind the shed, is it?
Hey, man, I don't think it'll be that. I hope the Bears will show up and do what we alluded to earlier about being professional, playing hard, and know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So the game is close. But I just, hey, man, look, we know that Kansas City has a better team.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
That's true.
They're preparing for the playoffs, okay? The Bears do have something to do in terms of being professional, giving their fans something, right? But that still does not, to me, equal a win by them. It could say, hey, man, this is a positive, but I don't think it equals a win. I don't know. We'll see. I think Kansas City's going to win.
Hey, man, they say, hey, we put our pants on one leg at a time. We got 60 minutes of football to bust some tails, and we planning on. This is their final home game, man. So they got to show up and show out. Hey, Dr. Lloyd Walton, it's always a pleasure. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we certainly will talk with you throughout the week, of course, and next Sunday as well on the Rewind Sports 60. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Doc.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Happy holidays
Happy
to you guys.
holidays.
Stay safe, everybody.
You're the best.
Okay. Jerry,
take care. Dr. Lloyd Walton joining us on our TR60 hotline, our
also,
NBA expert.
the guy that did the PA for the Bears for 35 years. It's his final performance tonight, Jim Rebrandt.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's done 35 years, and this will be his last one. He does DePaul also, but
all these guys are retiring.
Yeah, that's right.
That's interesting. Hey, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Marvelous, what is your prediction before we get out of here?
I think it will be a fairly high-scoring game. I like the Chiefs by a couple of scores.
Lauren, yes, she can. You can?
I will that the Bears will do a good job today and have a strong showing. That's what I can will.
I hope
today.
you're right. I hope you're right, because I don't want to be watching 3.5 hours of football, and it's not football. And Q?
34-17 Chiefs.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Well, you're about right, because the Bears have been averaging around 17, 18 points a game, so why should they change?
Hey,
and Marty B.
Marty.
Bring us home, Marty B.
Marty B.
He's not.
You there? Uh-oh. Well, Q, real quick before we go to Marty B, what's your prediction?
34,
oh, you just 34-17. I'm sorry.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I want it to be a closer game. I'll say 28-20.
Okay.
KC. But with my luck, because I took the Chiefs, with my luck and my confidence pool, the Bears are gonna win. With my luck. Marty B, the man on the street. Before we out, what do you got for us?
Coming together. From memorable meals to post-dinner naps, this is the time to celebrate friends, family, and mostly the comfort of togetherness. On behalf of my colleagues with the Rewind Sports 60, we wish all of you and your loved ones a very blessed Christmas and a joy-filled Hanukkah.
Thank you, Marty. You're the best. Hey, Gabe got our TR60 update. Thanks. Happy holiday to all of you. Lauren, Q, Marvelous.
Happy holidays.
Devin, take care. Gabe Zolgato, take it away.
Despite getting 22 combined points on 8 of 18 shooting from guards Keith Clemens and Tate Hall, it wasn't enough as the Ramblers fell to Davidson in their final non-conference game on Sunday at home, 59-56. Head coach Porter Moser talks about how the Ramblers will regroup before beginning conference play.
These guys, they grinded the first semester. The new season starts when they get back. A lot of teams in the country are going home for Christmas, and there might be a lot of things going on. In the locker room, you're seeing the transfer portal already heat up. Some teams aren't doing very well. Their arrow's going down. That ate at our gut right there. But we're one of the teams that when we come back, we're going to be chasing a conference championship.
The Ramblers will travel to Valparaiso to open up the Missouri Valley Conference schedule on December 30th. And we're just moments away from kickoff at Soldier Field as the Bears will host the Kansas City Chiefs in their final home game of 2019 tonight. This update from the Gentile Center is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation, and I'm Gabe Salgado for the Rewind Sports 60 and WCPT 820 Chicago.
To the ball game, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
All right. Let's hear it from the greatest fans ever. On three. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back Forest Root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get some runs. Thank you.
Still there. Oh, say does that